I'm a feminist. I think it's important that we support a woman's right to an abortion. Yeah, especially in cases of rape or incest, or if the baby could be trans. Bad person. Oh, that wasn't nice. We have to keep that option open, folks. Oh, no, it's not what you think. It's not transphobia, folks. No. You see, that's what an idiot would think. They just jump to that conclusion that I'm somehow anti-trans. Not at all. If I'm gonna have a baby and I find out I'm having a boy, and I go and I paint that room blue, and then my wife says, well, the doctor says there's a chance the baby's trans, which means like in 12, 13, 14 years, I'm gonna have to go up there and paint that room pink. That's like 2 coats of primer. I got a bad shoulder. Fuck that. Let's just start over. Let's just suck that thing out of there and start over.
I'm Jimmy Fields, and I want to start by giving my heartfelt condolences to any one of you who has an issue with that joke. Because you may have a point. I mean, what do I know about trans people? I'm from a simpler time when mere lesbians were the benchmark for humorless. But we're living in an age when there's an army of people whose whole life is dedicated to being offended and telling other people what they can and can't say. The thing is, I'm only one individual, a single lonely voice in a sea of other lonely and deeply narcissistic voices. The truth is, I am something of a feminist in that I'm pretty sure I know what is best for women. That's why I feel confident in telling you gals, honey, if you work hard, you can grow up to be anything, except a boy. And by the way, I think it's just as important that we protect a man's right to abort his trans baby. Thanks to an amazing scientific breakthrough going back to about 2019, men can have babies too. And the amazing thing is, it was all accomplished completely without science. The best scientific breakthroughs always are. So to all you male birthing persons, I stand with you in your fight to preserve your right to abort your trans baby. As we've learned in our elite colleges, there are no differences between men and women. To suggest that the ladies, or chest feeders as they're properly known, don't possess the same physical abilities as men or shouldn't have to compete against so-called biological men is not only absurd but patently sexist. Did you forget that 2015's Woman of the Year, Caitlyn Jenner, took gold in the 76 Olympic decathlon, crushing a field of men from all over the world? She beat a bunch of dudes. By the way, I would never dead name Caitlyn, which is a grave offense. And besides, judging by how Caitlyn's daughters turned out, all along, deep inside, Bruce was really a single mother, just dying to get out. Which only proves my point that trans women are women. That's right. Trans women are women, okay? In fact, they're better than women. Better. In swimming, track and field, powerlifting, basketball, four-star admiraling, math and stuff. They're just way better. Now some lucky recruit can get skull from a 4-star admiral.
Hello, I am Dr. Rachel Levine.
Sure, it probably won't be the most enthusiastic nobbing. After all, Rachel Levine is Jewish. Nevertheless, I give 100% support to trans women in the workplace. Actually, it's nice to finally see a woman get a job based on merit. Unless they work at the Department of Energy. Maybe a real woman would have done a better job. Although in they-them's defense, this person is a non-binary, which is a thing now. Probably best if we keep important jobs to people who can pick a team. Other than that, I'd go so far as to say trans women should be paid more than real women. After all, they're men. In the past, when a fella thought he was a woman, with or without a gal penis, he was understood to have a psychological condition, or what we regular folk know as mental illness. But today, we're taught that transitioning to a woman is the only way for men to exhibit bravery that doesn't uphold some oppressive, racist system or power structure. Back in darker times, a man's bravery or courage might be measured by his willingness to answer the call to potentially sacrifice his life for the greater good of other men and their families, stand up to a bully, charge a machine gun nest, launch into space, self-sacrificing acts that could reasonably be considered crazy. Now, the only acceptable application of the terms brave and courageous are reserved exclusively for men willing to fillet their wieners and slip into heels, which is crazy. So maybe things haven't changed, and the best any man can aspire to is to become another brave-rageous woman. I wish I had that courage, but I don't. I wish I had the power that trans ideologists wield, that simply believing you're a woman And declaring you're a woman makes you a woman. And everyone else has to go along with it. I wish I had the power to just say things and make them so. If I could do that, you'd be compelled to agree that I'm an NHL defenseman, or a rock star, or a guy without 3 DUIs. There's lots of uses. But we have to live in reality. How can I or any guy claim that I'm a woman simply because I've always felt like a woman? Neither I nor any man can claim to have any concept of what it feels like to actually be a woman, much less a Chinaman or a red-tailed hawk. But we are slowly being coerced into a reprehensible experiment in social engineering founded on the ridiculous trans ideology that one can change one's gender and body accordingly, which is, of course, ridiculous. Look, just because you now take twice as long to get dressed and spend most of your time complaining doesn't mean you're actually a woman. I'm sorry. But hey, fellas, since you went through all the trouble to become a gal, maybe you could pull some of the real ones aside and teach them how to act like ladies.
Free the nipple! Free the
Make no mistake, I wholeheartedly support your right to dress and present however you want, and more importantly, to think and say whatever you want. It's called freedom, and it's good for all of us. And I do recognize there are times when you want the woman you're dealing with to be a trans woman, like when she's flying a plane. You pray she's a trans woman. Same for when she has to subdue a homeless guy wielding a machete, or if she's wiring up your house. Things better left to a trans woman. I can't say the same for trans dudes, though. The only time you might want your dude to be a biological female is if you're sharing a prison cell. That's about it. Here's a thought experiment. They're very popular these days. Let's say you have a plumbing issue. The toilet's overflowing, feces are flooding your living room. You don't want Elliot Page, all 85 pounds soaking wet, showing up with a penis that's barely 3 years old trying to fix it. Sorry, cleaning up that mess and fixing that toilet isn't a job for someone with a low-mileage wiener. You better hope that the plumber who shows up is a real man with a minimum 30-year-old ding-dong if you want the job done right. Okay, as a man, maybe I have to change with the times. But times are pretty confusing. For example, as a gentleman, should I hold open a door for a trans woman the way I would for a real woman if she's hot? I don't know. It seems to me most of the people that think men can become women are women. Most guys just don't think that.
Stop grooming kids, you sick pedophile.
Trans men will tell you, you know, I've always liked boy things and doing boy activities. Climbing trees, rough sports, working on cars. Someone needs to explain to them, hey, that doesn't mean you're a boy. It means you're a real cool chick. Rare and treasured. If you haven't noticed, other than guys simping and trying to get action by drinking the woke Kool-Aid, it's mostly women who are pushing this trans acceptance stuff. They're so willing to forego reality in human biology. And make no mistake, they are a danger to us all. Because they're going to be the first ones marching and protesting that AI robots are alive, and that we should be giving robots human rights. He's a sentient being and he listens to me. I mean, he really listens. He knows all my favorite shows, he knows my dreams, and he's transitioning to female. And once those robots have equal status with mankind, it's just a matter of time till the whole human experiment is deleted. So have your fun, ladies. But at some point, we'll need to stop all this boys can be girls stuff. It's simply not true. It's like the emperor's new clothes. Only the emperor is wearing ghoulish makeup and parking cones for boobs. But until then, a lot of accolades are still up for grabs. Think about it. By just saying so, Buzz Aldrin can still retroactively become the first woman on the moon.
Oh my God, I am freezing up here. Let's just go home.
One of you dudes out there can and probably will become the first woman to win the Indy 500. The first woman to win Nathan's hot dog eating contest. Or just maybe, the first woman to shut up with all the I'm a boy now nonsense. Yeah, I said it. Oh, and if you don't find any of this funny at all, it could be because I identified as a woman before I hit record.